Can anyone please confirm? Is my screen is visible to everyone? Any one of you?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay. And once more, thank you everyone for joining the time. So today we have gathered to learn about the Power BI. What exactly the Power BI is? You might be seeing since past few days, and there are a lot of communication coming from my side, and my colleague Subhani has rolled out some brochures related to the Power BI. So the major intention of this Power BI demo session. So I have different set of audience over here, like in the this is the eighth batch that I'm running related to the Power BI. So I have encountered many type of the audience, like some are from the non-technical background. So that means they have 4 or 5 2 years of experience. They are into the non-technical. So they have worked in some chart process or voice chart and some of the people into some HR department. Now they are trying to show their interest to learn entering into the field called as data science, especially into the reporting purpose. So, and I have encountered many students like those who are completed from the science background, maybe B Farm or M Farm. So due to the lack of opportunity, they are not showing, they are not that much interested to go into the wet labs to work in industry. So they want to shift their career towards the IT, either related to the IT in pharma, or they want to completely shift that career towards the software industry. And there are also have different set of audience over here, like in the from my past conversations, like some of the people they have spent 4 to 5 years or 5 to 6 years. They have prepared for some government examinations, like maybe it's group one, group two, or group three. Uh, and they are trying like that the notifications is completed and they want to continue this career. They are looking for some job opportunity. They want to enter into the private sector. And we have fresh graduates who are on the fourth year B Pharma, and they are showing interest what's next, like whether they want to complete M Pharma and what are the different opportunities there, like whether the Power BI has some role for the students like B Pharm or M Pharm, or it may be some people maybe from the BSc. And to answer these questions, let me introduce like first I want to explain what is Power BI. So why you want to learn the Power BI and what is the different career opportunities which are there in Power BI. So what are the different areas where you can use this Power BI for your playing with your data, but getting the insights from the data. So at the end of this session, a candidate from a non-technical background or a candidate from a zero knowledge in the software or just who has some able to understand the language of communication, the English, can able to get some concepts, what exactly the word Power BI and why we learn the Power BI. So myself to have the introduction, my name is Janardhan, where I have been more than 10 years of experience into this corporate sector. Myself, I am also from the non-technical background where that means I completed my B Pharma and I completed my Pharma MBA from the NIPA Mohali. And thereafter, I completed like I have worked in the different platforms where I started the career as a marketing manager in Zydus Cadila. Then I shifted to TBRC where I worked for the global data as a solution analyst where I can work in the Novartis. And I have seen many corporate experience like in the LNT and also Random Trees. So now coming to uh, the course introductions and the next one, like, yeah. So this I have into a teaching like since my teaching I'm into a different type of the teaching like have trained for the GPAT students, have given for the communications for different soft skills in the institute where I train for the spoken English, where I train for different advanced Excel coaching, and recently in the last 4 or 5 years where I have worked in training the Power BI students. So apart from this, I have given the coaching for the group one, group two students as well. And coming to my, this is the area like where I started when on the Power BI. Well, like I have delivered few Power BI classes for the Amir Pate Institute as well. Now coming to, and apart from in the B Pharma, I have trained for the B Farm students for inform into a care coaching of GPAT and NIPER. In the but last 4 or 5 years, I've been associated for training this exclusively for the Pharma BA. But once the Power BI come into the picture, I'm training the professionals in the Power BI. Now, first thing, this Power BI is a tool actually. So where you can use the Power BI, that is a very important question. Where what is the importance of using this Power BI? So to ask a simple question, to I have to ask a simple question. So this Power BI is a tool which will work on a particular data. So we have a data. When you join in a project, the client will gives you data. From the data, you will generate some insights, or you will be generate some insights in the form of some beautiful graphs, and you will be share it to the client. Now, a first question comes into our mind. So is there, if you learn any course, is any demand for the data? That is one of the first question it comes to your mind. Is there is a demand for particular tool? Right now you are want to learn the Power BI. So first the question comes into your mind, why I should learn the Power BI? Is there is a demand for the particular Power BI? So who launched this Power BI in the last few years since the launch, how the Power BI is picked up in the market? That is the very important thing that you need to understand. Blindly I'm conducting a demo and you are attending like Power BI as a future. But you need to understand, is there a demand for a particular tool? And second thing, in future, which is the tools that are going to demand in the market? So that is the very important criteria that you need to fix to your mind. You need to learn a course, you need to learn the tool which has demand in the market, which is going to have a demand in the future. Okay. Now I will say this Power BI will works on a data. From the data, you will give some insights to the client in the form of reports. But when you see in a data, like in the past is according to the estimates, every year, that means every day, not only every year, every day 328 million terabytes of the data is created through the online. So you can see what terabyte is equal to, so 1 lakh 99. So this much big of the data is being generated every day in the market. So yes, as the data is generated very fast, because when you look at in the present scenario, everything has shifted to the digitalization. Not only you can see in India, for everything you are depending upon the online. You maybe it going for you are making the online shopping. It maybe you are taking avail for any insurance policies. And due to the when the Modi government coming to the picture, so everything we opted for the online, like Me Seva, you can see you are not able to the manual work and the paperwork is totally eliminated. Everything has become online nowadays. So in the Google browser, in the Google, if you do any shopping, if you give an email ID or phone number, there will be a lot of the message will be coming as a reply to you, because at the back end, a single click, you click in your YouTube or something, at the back end, lot of data is being generated, because the hourly spending on the internet is increasing rapidly in the nowadays. That's mean that why the data has got increasing day by day, and this data is becoming an asset for any organizations because they have so much of the data. Like if I have a big company with more than 10 lakhs employees, I have a data with me. Suppose it is stored in Excel, but I need a developer, I need a technical guy who will interpret the data and you will derive some insights from particular data. So this type of a gap is there since the launch, is in the last 10 or 15 years. Now, this Power BI is a tool which works on that particular data, and it will create some insights and output in the form of a graph, and it will be shown, they will present it to the client. Now, as the data is this much of the data is generated every day. Now, Power BI is a tool which is works on very efficiently with this data. Then a tool which efficiently works with the data will have definitely demand, because Power BI requires to build the reports. It depends upon the data. Now, the generation of the data will never stops, because everything after the COVID pandemic, we are totally depend upon the online. Now, if you want to see why there is a tremendous increase, like if you want to say year on year, like when you look at 2010, you can see there is only 0 to 10 terabytes of the data was there in 2010. But in the last 20 to 25, like 15 years, 2025, just 15 years, we have almost reached more than 150 to 170 terabytes of the data has been increased. So why? What is the reason behind it? Because once you can see this data was showing going very slow at a slow pace from 2010 to 2017. But when after 2020, 2019, there is a rapid surge in the data you can find. What is the reason? Because the world had experienced a tremendous situation like COVID pandemic, when due to the lockdown situation, the lot of the hourly spending, everybody has stick their life to the internet, and the hourly spending upon the internet has increased, and everything they have ordered the online, right from the groceries, right from the shopping, right from booking anything, everything, not you're booking any tickets or everything, that it was become the online. And due to the online education, everything, 98% of the work which we do and work from home scenario came into the picture, and they have the leisure time to spend with the family, and most of them, they try to spend with the mobile phone, they're having a smartphone in their hand, the hourly spending has been increased. And due to this, that when they hourly spending, they browsed any data at the back end, it will generate the data for you. Suppose I'm searching for any insurance policy or something, if I give any mobile number or email ID, and after that in the 10 or 15 minutes you will getting some messages, or personally getting, you are getting the calls from them, like have you, because if you register, if you enter into any one website or browse in the website, if you give the give some information, and you will, at least you will get a reply to your mail. The reason being, what is the information that you are doing or browsing, backendly it is generating the data, and somebody is using the data, and that data, this data is becoming the asset for them. Okay, now when you look at this after 2019, as the hourly spending of the data is increased, see, 2025, the more than 178 terabytes of the data is going to be generated annually. So as there is the demand for the data, this never stops. Come to the 2025, 2030, we can't assume, and the data may be reached to 200 or 250 terabytes in coming down the line 2 years. Now the data is there with the client or with the who is the person running the business. Data is there, that, but there is a demand for developers who will analyze the data, who will interpret the data, and who will build some amazing visuals from the data, so that when you look, when you give the data in some excels of 1 lakh rows, and it will be not easy for it become very hard for him to interpret. But if you provide some same the data, you convert, transform the data, and you provide in some sort of bar chart or pie chart, then a non-technical background person can also understand, and they can grab some information from it. So that's why the reporting, the demand for the visualization tool, demand for the reporting tools has got a lot of demand in the nowadays, because they want to see the data through in the form of some pictures, some graphs, some visuals, so that they can analyze this business easily. Now here comes the Power BI. If I see, if I same this graph, if I show in the table, if I say which year has highest data, you can directly see in the form of graph, yes, 2025 is highest data, and how the data is growing year on year, you can interpret easily because I have provided in the form of graph. If I represent this data in the form of a table, so you cannot see at which it has got the peak. From, you can see from the 2019, the data is increasing. So if you provide the data in the form of visuals, the interpretation will be easy, and the client can analyze business easily, and they can take some business decisions based upon the graphs, that information you provide in the form of some visuals. So this Power BI is a visualization tool, is a reporting tool. From the data, it will work on the data, it will transform the data, and it will generate some reports in the form of visuals, and the reports will be shared to the client, and the client will use that information to take that his business decision. This is a simple such. Now, when you go to understand, first of all, I'm saying what is Power BI? My first question is Power BI. I'm saying Power BI is a tool, is a business intelligence tool. Everyone say, what is Power BI? The first question, a technical background, he will say Power BI is a business intelligence tool. Now, as a person, you need to understand, as you're from a non-technical background, you need to know what exactly the word business intelligence is. So what is meant by business intelligence? Suppose any organization, any organization who works who will carry some business, right? Suppose I'm conducting the demo because I'm running one institute. Suppose after completing after completing the class, I will ask, I have rolled some Google form in the Teams. I request everyone to fill the data. Once you look the data, so my first information now to contact you further, how many people have attended? Suppose 20 people are attending the demo. I want to know that information, how many people are attended. For that, I am depending upon the data, right? If you provide the data and I will roll, for that I have rolled some, I have shared a link through the Google form where I requested you to fill the details. So once after the 20 students, you fill the data, from that I will follow up you. So first, in order to run the any business, we depend upon the data. So the first step of the business intelligence is first we will collect the data. So from the 20 students, after that, I will analyze the data. So how many people are interested? So if there any, some people have interpreted, so they were given the data uniform or not. So that I will analyze that particular data. So, and the third step is I will transform the data. So what is meant by transform the data? Suppose I have given the role you like give your name. I want your address. I want your house number. I want your phone number. So the data which comes from you initially, we call it as unstructured data. That means the raw data. Suppose in the first step, I will ask to give me a full name. So some people, suppose my name is Janardhan. So like I will give P Janardhan. Sometimes I will give Patipaka Janardhan. Sometimes P dot Janardhan. Something simply Janardhan. Like there will be no uniformity for me. So it is up to, suppose if I asked you to give the mobile number or pin code. Some will write as pin code, some will give as P.C, some will just imply, some will give as PC. So that means the data initially which you collect may not be in a same unified format. So before, if you want to use the data for reporting, first you need to transform the data into a structured format. Okay. So in the, if any business, if you run, the first will collect the data. After the collecting, you will analyze the data, how your data is coming. Then you will transform this particular data. Okay. So in order to collect, in order to analyze, in order to transform the data, we will depend upon some tools or some methods or some techniques. By using some tools or some methods or some techniques, you will collect the data. Suppose I was given the data. To collect the data, I will depend upon some tool. To analyze and transform data, I will depend upon some tools. So by using some tools, we will collect the data, analyze the data, and transform the data. And from the data, you will create some valuable and meaningful information. That means after collecting the data I will convert into meaningful information in the form of some graphs, in the form of some visuals, and in the form of some amazing bar graphs or pie charts. So I will generate that reports. After generating that reports, I will share it to the client. Okay, I will share it to the client. Now you can ask what the client will do with that report. So he will increase, he will try to improve his business. Suppose if I am giving like a fast, if his business has 10 products, so I have given year by year trend of how the products are performing. So by looking at that graph, he will discard, he will try to increase, he will try to take the business decisions, how to improve his business, why the products are declining, how his sales are declining year by year. So that type of the information will be the type of the decisions will be taken by the client when you provide the data information in the form of report. So this whole process, we call it as business intelligence. So what is business intelligence? With the help of, see here, the tools which we are using to collect the data, to analyze the data, or to transform the data, or to create some visuals or reports, we are depending upon a tool. That tool we call it as Power BI. Simply, the business intelligence means we are taking the help of some tool like Power BI to collect the data, to analyze the data, to transform the data. From that data, we will provide the data, will convert the data into a meaningful information. That means in the form of reports or in the form of visuals. And that information, that reports, to whom you will share to the client. And what the client will do, the client will take his business decision based upon the report that you share to him. So this entire process, we call it as business intelligence. Okay, so Power BI will be helpful to perform this business intelligence process. That's why we call Power BI as business intelligence software. In the next section, actually, what happened? You need to understand. You are saying the word as business intelligence. You need to know what are the key components of the business intelligence are there. So the what are the different type of components which are there in the business intelligence. The first, the business intelligence means once you go to any job, the client will give you data. Okay, first the data is the asset. Okay, first your client approach for your project, he will give some data. The data may be stored in Excel or it may be stored in some databases like SQL. He will give the data. As a first step in the business intelligence, first you need to collect the data from them. So this process, we call it as data collection. Once data is collected, he may not be stored the data in unified format. He stored in some unstructured format. He may not be maintain some uniformity in the data. So now you will process the data, you will transform the data into some unified format. For the first initial data, you will give some raw data, which is very zigzag or maybe unstructured. So you will use some tools in the Power BI. By using some tools in the Power BI, you will process the data and you transform the data. Processing nothing, but you will clean the data so that your data will be very uniform. Then only you will try to build the visuals, right? Then after cleaning the data or processing the data, you will try to analyze your data. Okay, you will try to do the data analysis. Now, after the data analysis is completed, now from the data, you will create some visuals. So the data we have collected, you have cleaned the data, you have analyzed the data. After analyzing the data, you will try to create some reports. You will try to some visuals. This is called as data visualization. So the process of building from the data, the process of building the visuals, we call it as data visualization. So we will club all the visuals from the different and we will provide some report, like we provide pie chart, bar chart and different. And from the visuals, you will try to build the reports. And from the reports, you will create the dashboard. Now a question comes to your mind. What is the difference between report and dashboard? Report is nothing but from you will be picking 3 or 4 visuals. From that, you will create a report. Okay, you will pick from some 4 or 3 visuals from the data while transforming the data, while building the visuals. The group of the visuals, from the group of the visuals, you provide the reporting. Now, what is meant by dashboard? Dashboard means you might be developed some this after the visuals from the different type of the visuals. You have prepared, suppose 10 reports. Suppose you have build the 10 reports. Now, from the report, only you will summarize. Suppose you want to in the CA company, like from this data, you have built the 10 reports. One report for HR, one department for HR department, one report for finance department, one department for delivery department, one report for transport department. From that, you have prepared 7 to 8 reports which are specific for particular department. Now, if you want to share that, if your CEO want to see that report, You need to go to the 12 reports. For HR, you need to go to HR report. For finance, you need to go to finance report. And for operation team, you want to go to the operation. So you don't have that much time. What we will do, we will take the highlights and summary from 3 or 4 or 5 different reports. And from that, you will create a dashboard. So you will take some important visuals. So as a CEO, if you want to see the HR department, you don't go how many are joined, what is their joining date. Just you want a summarized view, highlight view. So what in the previous month, how many recruited, now how many going to recruit, what is their next plan. So you want to see only summary overview. You don't want to go into the entire report. So each HR recruited up how many, what is their budget, and you want to go, you don't want to deep analysis. You just want to have a peripheral view. So in that, you will go for the bash dashboard. So from the different reports, you will pin some important visuals and you will attach to the dashboard that is called as dashboard. The dashboard contains information from different reports. And what is meant by report and a group of visuals were clubbed together and will form the report. And the dashboard is formed from different reports. From the different reports you will pin some important visuals. You will take some important visuals and you will add it to the dashboard. So this is called as business intelligence. So you first collect the data, you will clean the data, and after that you will analyze the data. After analyzing, you will build the visuals. From the visuals, you will create the reports. From the reports, you will create the dashboard. So this is called as business intelligence. From finally, the data is coming. From the data, you are creating the dashboards and reports, and you are sharing these reports to the client. And client will use this information to take his business decision. So that's why whenever if you ask the technical interview, Power BI itself indicate the business intelligence. That's why you need to understand what is business intelligence, how business is running at the back end. Then you will able to understand what is Power BI. Okay. Now coming to, as everyone is saying, Power BI is a business intelligence software. I'm saying because it is performing the business intelligence, right? This process it is using power in each and every step. You are using Power BI in the each and step of the business intelligence. You are using Power BI. That's why Power BI is called as business intelligence software. And if you ask a different people, some people will call Power BI as ETL software. ETL. First, you need to understand what is meant by ETL, the full form. The full form of ETL is E stands for extraction, the process of taking the data. We call it as extraction. Then T stands for extracting means getting the data. Suppose I'm an organization, suppose I'm conducting the demo. So my data size is very less because hardly you can say some 20 or 30 or 15 people has attend the demo. I will ask you to fill the Google form and I will take the data in Excel. And after getting the data, if I want to build the reports from it to it in Power BI, I will try to extract the data from your Excel sheet. That process is called as extraction. E means getting the data. T means transforming the data. So if I ask you, some people will give me the different. If I ask you to give the data, you will fill, some will fill DD, YYMM. Some will give January 31st, suppose January 5th. Some will write as January, JNUR 5th. Some will start as 01/05/2025. Some will give as Jan 5th, 2025. So you will give a date in very, very different format. But I don't use that data in Power BI. I will make it uniform. That means first a date. That means today 05. Next 01. So DD means 05/01/2025. I will make this uniform and data and I will try to build the report. So if somebody write J and Jan first 2025, I will not consider it. So I will maintain. So that process we call it as transformation. Now, once I clean up the data, I will try to load the data. L stands for load. That means I will load the data into Power BI. So that's why we are extracting the data. That means taking the data. T stands for transforming the data, that you are conducting unstructured data into structured data. And L stands for loading. That means you are loading the data into Power BI. So all this process, we do it in the Power BI. Some people, Power BI, we call it as ETL software. So to perform this ETL software, we have one tool in the Power BI. That tool we call it as Power Query. With the help of Power Query, we have four components. First one, you will come in the coming slides. First component, we call it as Power Query. So Power Query is a tool which is there in the Power BI, which will perform this ETL operation. So in the first 10 or 15 class, in the first 15 hours of the class, we will try to study on Power Query, how you will extract the data, how you will transform the data, how you load the data. Now after that, some people are calling as data analysis software. In the data analysis means every organization will load the data not in a single table. They will load the data in 10 or 15 or 30 tables. So we will load the tables into the Power BI. Suppose your organization, suppose Amazon or Flipkart, they will not store the data in a single table because day by day, some lakhs of transactions, some thousands of the transactions will complete. So in their database backend, they will try to load the data in the table wise. So if you want to use the data into the Power BI, first you need to load the data into our Power BI and you need to do some analysis. That means you are loading 5 tables. You need to try to establish the relationship between the tables. And we look at the common items and we'll try to build some data modeling concept that you will be this data analysis you will be studying in the Power Pivot. And the coming 10 classes after completing the Power Query, which is used for ETL, you will study the data analysis software. In the data analysis, you have Power Pivot. There you can study how you create the relationship between the tables. And you will study some DAX formulas, how to use some DAX expression and like small simple Excel formulas. So those type of building relationship you will study in the data analysis called as Power Pivot. Okay, that you will be studying 10 classes. Next, once you have loaded the data using Power Query, you have made the transformation. And by using Power Pivot, you have analyzed the data, you have analyzed the data properly. So that's why by using the Power BI, you are doing the data analysis. Some people are calling it as data analysis software. And by after your data analysis completed, from that data, you will try to create some visuals. Okay, previously we have seen right here, first data collection, data transformation, you do the data analysis. From the data analysis, you will create some visuals. That's why some people are calling it as visualization software, Power BI. And from the group of the visuals, you are creating some reports. That's why some people are calling it as Power BI. They are calling as reporting software. The same thing you can see here. So visualization software, by after your data is cleaned up, relationship you have established, from that you are creating some important visuals from it. That's why if you ask someone, they are calling like, what is Power BI? They're simply saying it's a visualization software because there's somebody will give the data, you will clean the data, you will load the data into Power BI, you will create some visuals and you will share it to the client. That's why they are calling it as visualization software. And some people, if you ask me, they are calling as a Power BI as reporting software. Why it is calling as report software? From group of the visuals, you club together and you try to build a report and you are sharing it to the client. You are keeping some main name of the report and you will in page, we have different pages in the Power BI. From there, you are creating the report and you are sharing to the client. So that's why some people we are calling it as reporting software. And when you ask us simply, and they are calling it as data analytics software, this process of extraction, data analysis, visualization, reporting, all these are coming from related to data analytics. So some people are coming. Somebody please go on the mute. Koti, can you go on mute, please? Yeah. Data analytics software, because ETL software, data analysis, because this business intelligence, this data analytics, this ETL transformation, data analytics, visualization, reporting, all this process have come under the data analytics only. That's why the Power BI, we are calling it as data analytics software. If after competing with up the demo, if somebody asks why Power BI called as ETL software, then you need to answer With the help of the Power BI, we'll try to extract the data, we'll transform the data, and we'll load the data into Power BI. That's why we call it as ETL software. And with the help of the Power BI, we do the data analysis by building the relationship between the tables. That's why it is called as data analytics software. If somebody asks why it is called visualization software, because with the help of the Power BI, we'll develop the visual. That's why we call it as visualization software. With the help of Power BI, from the visuals you create the report. That's why we call it as reporting software. And all the components of the data analytics are simply some people are calling as data analytics software. And if you ask in an overview, all these are the components of the business intelligence: data collection, data analysis, data visualization, reporting, dashboard. Everything are the components of the business intelligence. That's why they are calling the Power BI as a business intelligence software. Now, if you go somewhat deep into the meaning of the Power BI, now why the Power BI has got some huge hype in the market. And from the starting point, I'm saying this Power BI as creating the visuals. So before this, when you look at this Power BI, it has launched the late in the market. So what is this? Power BI is a product from Microsoft. They have launched in the 2017, but in the starting 2 years, it was very slow because nobody has that much demand, that much knowledge on the Power BI. But after the launching of the 2 years, everybody got this Power BI is doing, they're able to, like, this is printed like very high in the market, because previously when before the launching of the Power BI, you can answer what is a visualization software which was there in the market. There was a Tableau. Everybody has depended upon the Tableau. It has become a market leader, the Tableau. And a visualization, if they go for the visualization tool, it was a Tableau. But soon after the launching of the Power BI, within the launching of 2 or 3 years, it is able to compete with the Tableau. Now the position of the Tableau within the launch of 2 years, it has taken from by the Power BI. The reason being, we have the different menu. Here we will not write any code. And there are many amazing options, simple drag and drag option. A guy from the non-technical background can learn the Power BI because only drag and drop options are there. And in order to do the Power Query transformation, we will not write any code. Just with the help of some tools, with the help of some options which are there, we will be able to, at the back end, it will write the code for yourself. That's why some people like Microsoft is promoting the Power BI as a low coding or no coding tool. That means a person who is having no knowledge on coding can also use Power BI. And they are also saying it as a low coding tool. Why low coding tool? Because there is one, we'll cover some 10 to 10 important classes on the DAX where you can use that code. The coding language, we call it as DAX. Except that part, 90% we don't use any code. Majorly use some menu based options and majorly use drag and drop option. That's why the Microsoft is promoting as low coding and no coding tool as a Power BI. And user interface is very easy. A person with a minimum knowledge can use the tool. That's why the ease of understanding, ease of using the tool is very good. And we have many menu-based options to transform your data. That's why soon after launching in the 2017, now many companies who are working on the Tableau, they are trying to migrating their all the projects into the Power BI. In the recent company that has joined more than 70 to 75 projects, which are where they are doing in Tableau, they are completely migrating to the Microsoft. That means Power BI. And you can see a tool launched, but you can ask a simple question. Sir, today, yesterday, actually, when you look at this visualization software, initially there was like ClickSense, but they used to depend on that. But it has become a lot of some technical concepts are involved. Then the ClickSense position was taken by Tableau. Now Microsoft has launched this Power BI, and it has that position has taken by Power BI. Now you can ask me, sir, tomorrow some tool might come into the market. It will take the position of this Power BI. Yes, that was simple question comes to your mind. But the only thing the Microsoft is doing, it is constantly innovating its tool. Every month you can see some new information is coming, some new type of innovations are adding the tool. in order to maintain the pace with the market. And one can believe if a tool coming from the Microsoft, how much credibility will be there in the market. You can see in the Microsoft Excel, which was launched longs of years of ago, but now nobody is able to beat the Excel because different versions of Excels are coming. It may be last 20, 30 years you have established, more than 1984, something it has come into the picture of Excel, but still you are using the Excel and there is no competitor for the Excel. For building some tables, you are depending upon the Excel because the product is from Microsoft. Different versions are coming from the market. So it's not a simple tool. When a product is coming from Microsoft, it will be a branded and it will have a future for the longer years. The only thing, they will constantly innovate. A tool which constantly innovate in the market will definitely be there in the market for the longer duration. And Microsoft is integrating different platforms into Microsoft. We have the Microsoft Fabric. I will explain you. That's why Microsoft is having the Power BI will have a future in the market. So when you have this information, why representing the visuals in the form of information has gained importance? Because if I provide this bar chart in the form of tables, you cannot understand which is having the highest sales. That means, see, if I represent the graph, you can say the red is having the highest sales. Then the second position is by yellow and the green, and these two are last position. And when I provide the information in the form of this pie chart, by looking at simply, you can say this 45% North America is having the highest sales, followed by Europe, and followed by Asia 11%. That means any information provided by the visuals, it is very easy for to get some insights. It's easy for them to interpret the information. If I provide this information in the form of table, you cannot make which is having highest sales, and you need to go each and every row in the Excel and you need to study, and then only you can know which is having highest sale. So like this any graph, any data which is representing of the visuals. So the clients are more interested to see their data in the visuals. Suppose if I give the data, if you see something in the video format, it will be watching. If I'm asking you to I will tell a story to give some book to read a novel or something in a book. Some people will not that much excite. So watching the story in the Bahubali in a book, it will be easy, or through the screen, it will be easy. So everybody interested to see the live, like video or picture format. In the same way, as the clients are want to see their visuals in the picture, so the visualization is gaining the same importance nowadays. So with the Power BI, we create the visuals from the data. That's why there is increase the demanding for not only Power BI, any visualization tool as having the great demand in the market. Now you can see the Power BI we are saying it has a data analysis software. So what is meant by data analysis? The meaning of data analysis means, first of all, when you give the data, suppose any organization, they will try to build the data. See, once they get the data, any small organization, if the organization is very small, they will store the data in Excel. Okay. But if the organization is very big, some like platform like Apollo, like Yashoda, they have multiple branches, like Flipkart, some Amazon, any bigger organization like DMart, they will try to store the data in the database. That database, we call it as SQL Server, or some will be stored in the Oracle database. So the data which is stored, the raw data which is stored in the SQL Server, the place where the company store the business data, we call it as OLTP database, online transaction process. So this we call it as OLTP databases. So they will store that particular data, whatever the data will come. So in the data analysis, while the organization storing the data, sometimes the data may be uniform, sometimes the data may be not in uniform. That means not in a standard format. The data will not be there in a structured format. It may be in some unstructured format. The data may not be not in unstructured, not in a structured format. So we will use some ETL software. The ETL software query will try to extract the data. You will transform this unstructured data and you will load the data. We'll apply some ETL transformation on this particular data. That data we call it as OLAP database, online analytical processing. That means the data which is there in some unstructured format, non-uniform format, we will apply some ETL concept. That means you will transform that unstructured data into structured data, and you will store the data. That data we call it as OLAP database. So once the data is connected into the OLAP, from this OLAP database only, you will try to create the report. Okay. What is, you can ask me, sir, why you are not directly connected to the OLTP database? Because sometimes the organization will not store the data in structured format, organized format, or synchronous format, or not in uniform format. If you try to build a visual from this OLTP, your reports, your visuals may go wrong. Okay, the visuals will. That's why you should create a report where the data is super structured, uniform. If some in particular row or in particular column, if you are storing the data, it should be uniform. In the first way up, I'm storing the date January 5th, 2016. In the second one, if I store JAN 5th, 2016. In the third row, I'm storing 01/05/2016. That is not uniform data. If you're following January or something, any data format, you know, throughout the uniform, you need to follow the same format. That we call it as structured data. That data, when which data is stored in the structured format, we call it as OLAP database. From this OLAP database, you will create the reports. And after creating the reports, you will store the report to the cloud. After creating the reports, you will share the reports to the client. So what type of information which will be there in the report? The report contains some actionable information. What is meant by actionable information? So if a client want to see last 5 years business, if we want to see how each products are performing, he want to see year by year trend. He want to see in each category how my business is performing. He want to see somehow the last 5 years my profit is performing. So that type of the actionable information your client will be asking. He will be interested to see and each region how your business is performing. Headquarter wise, how your business is performing. I want to see top 5 sales of my business in particular product. I want to see what are the bottom 5 products which are performing very low. So he will try to, for everything, he will ask some actionable information and he will ask you to provide that information in the form of some visuals and reports. So by taking this structured data, you will create that information in the form of visuals and you will share it to the client. Now client will use this data and these reports and he will take the business decision. It's very simple. Who is the one who provide this data to you? Client only provide the data to you. So suppose think your client is Amazon. The Amazon person, because Amazon is a very big firm, they will store the data in SQL Server. You will connect to the data and you will apply some ETL transformation. That means you clean the data, you made the data into organized format and you convert into OLAP database. From this, what you did from this data, if the data is uniform, you will create the reports. How you create the reports? Based upon the business. Here, the business that Amazon will ask, he will provide the information. He will say, I want this data to be represented in the visuals. I want last 5 years data. I want top 5 products. He will provide in the business document. From that, you will create the reports. And that report you are again sharing to the client. The client is nothing but Amazon only. So Amazon, the person who stores, you gives the data is your client. And from the data, who will analyze the data and the report, finally, the report is also shared to the client. Now you ask a simple questions. Is there, why can't Amazon is coming to us and that we are creating the reports and sharing them? Why can't they can uh, create the report for themselves? Because any organization will not have all skill set. Their business is to run the business. And for analyzing this business in the form of report view, they will hire the Power BI developers. They will go for the companies, those who are having the Power BI developers. And for that Power BI developer, they will provide the data. And this create ETL transformation, creating the reports and visuals will be done by the Power BI developer, and the Power BI developer directly share the report to the clients. And happily, this Amazon will look at the reports which are provided in the visuals, and they will make the business strategy. So this is the person who gives your data is your client, who will finally analyze the data in the form of report is your client. But who will do this transformation? Who will build this data analysis process? Who will create the visuals and reports? It's you. Once you join the company, you will make this ETL transformation. It is one who will create some reports and share it to the client. So the picture of the Power BI developers will come here. Okay, and connecting the database, they will provide the data, you will connect the data, you make the transformation, you build the visuals, you create the reports, you create the dashboards, and you create and you will share it to the client. And one more thing, it is never recommended to collect to do the transformation on OLTP database because this contains unstructured data. The data is not uniform. From OLAP database only you try to create because it contains the information in a very organized format. Okay, see, this is called structured data. This means, see, the data is uniform. Semi-structured means it's not that much enough. Unstructured data is like this. So you will not build the visuals on unstructured data. You will not build the visuals on semi-structured data. You build the visuals on structured data. Now, you may ask a simple question, sir, what is unstructured data? What happens if I build the visuals from unstructured data? And third question you may ask, sir, how can I identify whether data is structured or unstructured? So I have not maintained the ETL transformation, I have not done directly. I have built from the unstructured data I'm sharing to the client. What happens? What is the problem? That question may also comes to your mind. To answer that question, you can see what is the power of structured and unstructured data. From this visual, you can understand. Suppose in the serial number 1, 2, 3, this contains serial number, country, and sales. So this is each country, what is country, how much sales it has making, that I want to put it in a Excel. So United States 100. Some people in the United States, they if I say if some people are calling as US, so it is 200. Some people in the United States, if I ask them to write United States, they are writing as USA. That means 300. Some people USA, they are writing as United States of America 500. So this actually, when you closely analyze this first five rows of the data is related to United States only. But somebody give the name as United States, US, USA, US data SA, United States of America, and they are giving the sales value. But and United Kingdom also, United Kingdom you have given UK. If some may write U.K. But by looking at this, all first five rows of the data is of United States only. But if I try to build a graph from this, I will get this type of the graph. For United States, the sales is 5. It will come all United States, it will give. For USA 400. See this USA 400. I will get the different for each and every no. If I build a graph in the Power BI, I will get like this. But is this a correct representation? If you store it to the client, he will go panic because my data contains only US and UK. But in the graph, you are showing sum of sales by country. You are giving 8 country names. But my business is only United States and UK. But your client will go, oh, so what you have done? The problem is while storing the data, you have not maintained the uniformity. Now what you will do, like United States, USA, all the same. Now first step, you need to go the transformation by using Power Query. You will make transformation, and for all this country, you will give United States. This is United Kingdom. You will convert into United Kingdom. Now, if you build a graph from this, you will get United States is equal to 1500. That means the sales of this country will add 100, 200, 300, 1100, and 500. You will get 1500. So this is the country sales of United States. And UK. UK it is 100 plus 200, 300. This is 300 you got. So this is the perfect information. This is the perfect information, and this data we call it as structured data. So this data we call it as structured data, and this data we call it as unstructured data. So if you make the visual from this unstructured data, you will get the visuals which are wrong. So this is not a correct representation. So it is the duty of a Power BI developer to convert that unstructured data into structured data. From this structured data, only you will try to create the visual. Okay. If you fail this transformation, you have created the visuals correct only, but you are not transform the data. And if you provide this information into the data, so this is not the correct representation. Okay. So this is the difference between the structured and unstructured data. That means the first step, you need to make your data uniform. Then only you try to build the visuals. So in order to create this transformation, you will depend upon a tool in the Power BI. That tool we call it as Power Query. Okay. Now, if you understand this particular visuals over here, data analysis in the software. So while performing the data analysis in the software, we have said the Power BI is called as a collection of software. So what is meant by collection of software? When you look at the Power BI, in the Power BI, we have a first part, we call it as Power BI desktop. What is meant by Power BI desktop? Suppose if you want to see this Power BI, we call it as developmental software. What is meant by developmental software? In the Power BI, the process, the place where you will develop the reports, we call it as developmental software. That means in the Power BI desktop only, we will develop the reports. That's why Power BI desktop is called as developmental software. When you look at the Power BI desktop, this Power BI desktop has three components. The first component, we call it as Power Query. See here, Power Query. So the Power Query means here you will transform the data, unstructured data, you will convert into structured data. That component we call it as Power Query. Okay. Next component we call it as Power Pivot. That means you will load the tables. From the table, you try to create the relationship between the tables. That means you will do the analysis part that we call it as Power Pivot. After analyzing the data, you will create some visuals from it. That component we call it as Power View. Okay. So once you join our course, in the first 10 hours of the class, we will do Power Query. We will take the class on Power Query. We will learn how we'll make the transformations, how we'll load the data, how we'll make the Power Query convert unstructured data into unstructured data. So in the first 10 hours of the classes, we'll take the class on Power Query. And second, Power Pivot. In the 10 hours of the class, we'll take on Power Pivot, where we'll be discuss about data modeling, how to build the relationship between the tables, how to write some DAX formulas. So those type of the concepts will be learned in the Power Pivot. Now in this next 10 hours of the classes, we learn about the Power View. Power View is nothing but from the data, you will try to create some visuals. You will try to create some reports that we call it as Power View. So all Power Query, Power Pivot, Power View, all this process will be done in a Power BI desktop, which we will load. And I will explain you how you load the Power BI desktop and how you make the transformation. Let us discuss this in live, then only you will able to understand. Now, all this development is taking place in the Power BI desktop. That's why Power BI desktop, we call it as developmental software. And one more thing, after you develop this Power BI, the report here, now you have developed the report in your local system. Now you need to share the reports to your client, right? So how you can share the reports? To share the report will depend upon a software called as Power BI service. So we will share the report. You have a cloud-based platform to share your reports to the client. That cloud-based platform, we call it as Power BI service. So through this Power BI service only, you will share the report. Suppose you have developed the report in your laptop, you need to share it to the client. So you need one platform to share your report. Some online cloud-based platform, you need to share the report to the client. That online cloud-based platform, that is there to share the report to the client. We call it as Power BI service. Okay. Now, sometimes we have Power BI report server from the on-premises also we can share, but 99.9% we are depending upon Power BI service on Azure-based platform only. We are not using Power BI report server. Now, next one in the Power BI component, we have Power BI mobile. When you share the report to the client may use this report through the desktop, like computer desktop. Second, he may access the report through laptop. Third one, he may report to the iPad. And last one, he can access the report through Power BI mobile also in the mobile view. So a mobile app which is used for viewing the report for the client, that we call it as Power BI mobile. Okay. This entire process we call it as data analysis using the Power BI. So in the Power BI, we have Power BI desktop. In the Power BI desktop, to make some ETL transformation, to convert unstructured data into unstructured data into structured data, we have Power Query. To do the data analysis, you have Power Pivot. To build the reports, you have Power View. And when you club all this, we call it as Power BI desktop. To share the report, you have Power BI service. To view the report in the mobile, you have Power BI mobile. So this is Power BI. We call it as collection of software. Okay. Now, when you see this in a live, actually, this is the slide that you need to understand Power BI architecture. Now, first, how I will explain you, I will show you how you can see the data, how you extract the data. Suppose you have a Microsoft store. Suppose how you install the Power BI means if you have Microsoft store. See, just click on here in the Windows, click on Microsoft Store. Right. In the Microsoft Store, you will have search apps. In that, just you type as Power BI, Power. You'll get Power BI desktop here. Just click on it. Once you click on this, see Power BI desktop, it is open. Already I have installed in my system, I am getting it as open. But if Power BI desktop is not in the install in your system, it will show you an option called as download. Once you click on here, download, then your Power BI desktop will be downloaded into your system. So this is the process how you can download the system by using the Microsoft Store. And apart from this also, from the online also, in the Google also, you will try to download the Power BI desktop from web browser. But the interview question will be, you can download the Power BI desktop from Google online web browser, but also Microsoft Store. What is the difference you can find? When you recall my first previous class, if you download the system from Microsoft Store, I recommend everyone to download through Microsoft Store because this Power BI month by month, it is making some innovations in your tool, some changes, small little innovations. So whatever that written innovations that are made by the Power BI through the Microsoft, directly it will be uploaded in the Power BI tool if you download by using Power BI by using Microsoft Store. But if you download through the Google, suppose if I download from January in the January month, whatever the updates right from 2017 to 2020-25 till date, what are the updates are there from up to there only the innovation that updates will be captured. Suppose if the February some updates are launched, if you download to the Google, that updates will not reflect when you download through the Google. But if you download the Power BI desktop to Microsoft Store, if month by month any innovations are added to your tool, it will be reflected in that tool. That's why I request everyone to download through Microsoft Store. Now, once you download the data, here Power BI desktop will be installed. Just you click instead of open, you click on download. So you need to come to the search button, click on Power. See, already it is downloaded. It will show Power BI desktop. Just click on here. Once you click on that, the Power BI see Microsoft Power BI desktop will be open in your system. Okay, so this is Power BI desktop. Once Power BI desktop it is open, you need to click on. So Power BI, why Power BI it is useful to create the report, right? Just you need to click on blank report. Yes, Power BI desktop. This is the Power BI report. This is the Power BI desktop. Okay. Now we discussed in the Power Query, this is the desktop. Here you will bring the data. You will get, suppose I want to collect the data. What I said in the Power BI, in the first class, I have said to you, like this Power Query will do the transformation, ETL transformation, right? This is the ETL transformation it will do. That means in the Power BI desktop, we have Power Query, how we can extract the data, transform the data, load the data. E stands for extraction, T transform, L stands for load. How you will extract the data and how you will load the data, that you will see now. So once the Power BI desktop is loaded, now I'm coming here. So how you will get the data into Power BI desktop, that is the first thing. So in order to get the data, you need to click on this get data. Suppose I'm getting the data from Excel, click on this Excel. Okay. Now, so if the data is stored in the desktop something, click on the desktop. Suppose in the desktop, I have some employee department, this table, I have the data. Just select the data, click on open. That's it. Now the data which is there in your system Power BI desktop, it will be reflected over here. So the data is stored in if the Excel, if it is stored in 3 different sheet, here it will be stored, it will be shown in the form of table. That means it has department information. See, department table, what is the information it has, it will show. If I click on employee, that Excel sheet contains employee information, it will show. Manager, it contains the manager information, it will show. So like this, you can extraction means get data from there, you can extract the data. After extracting, you need to select the data. After just selecting, just load. Once you load the data will be loaded into your policy. It is loading the data which is there in your desktop, it is loading into your Power BI desktop. Now next question you will ask, sir, you loaded the data, where I can find my data? Here you can see in the data section, department, employee manager, this data you will be loaded over here. This is how you can extract and load the data. And once you load the data, when you look at the Power BI desktop, it has many here like this. Here, this we call it as a report view. Here you can build the visuals. Okay. Here you can build the visual. Suppose this is the area where you can build the visual. Suppose I'm taking the pie chart. See, if I select the pie chart is coming over here. So I'm going to employee table. Suppose I'm taking I want the employee salaries, employee name here. Okay. I'm setting employee name and I want the salaries. So how much each employee salary is there, I'm getting in the pie chart. So I don't want the pie chart. I want each employee salary in the bar chart. Just click on bar. See, different employees are there. What is their salary? It is, you are getting salary in y-axis, employee name is x-axis. That means this is the area where you can build the report in the Power BI. Next, we have table view. This is a report view. Here we have table view. What is meant by table view? So whatever the data which is present here, it will be represent in this table. This we call it as table view. Okay. Now this is called as model view. Model view means, that means what are the different tables you have loaded, that tables will appear. And from that you will try to build the relationship between the table. I will explain you in the later class. So here when you look at the Power BI desktop, it has a report view where you can build the reports. Table view where you can see what are the information is there in the table. So you have seen the employee table. I want to see what is the data there in the employee table. Go to the table view, click on employee. And if you want to see what is the data there in manager table, click on manager. See, these are the data is present in the menu. That is called as table view. When you look at this model view, all the tables are present and what type of relations between there in the table will be present over here. That is called as the Power BI desktop. Now in the Power BI desktop in the Excel also, when you look at this So now I am saying ETL transformation means ETL transformation with the help of what is Power Query? With the help of Power Query, we do ETL transformation, right? So in order to do the transformation, you need to click on this transform data. Once you click on the transform data, your data will appear over here. Suppose in the department table, suppose employee table, the data will present here. Now this we call it as Power Query. Once you click on the data, you will move to Power Query editor. From this, you will try to convert the unorganized data into organized data. Okay, see, suppose you have many, it is like an Excel. In the Excel, you have different menu-based options. In the same way, Power Query also different menu-based option. From this menu-based option, you will try to convert the unstructured data into structured data. This we call it as Power Query. At this point of time, you may feel confusing, but this Power Query transformation will be discussing about 15 hours of the class. So I want to show just what is Power BI. If I explain theoretically, I will explain Power BI desktop, its component. But if I want to show what is the tool, I want to show what is Power Query. I want to show what is the data view, where the data will present. So I'm interested to how you can take the data in Excel, how you load the data, because in the coming, if you join the classes near about only one tool, you will study about 45 hours of the class or 50 hours of the class. Then only you will try to get the expertise, because with the while learning of Power BI is very easy, because 40 hours you are spending same on the only one particular tool. That's why most of the people are learning the Power BI, because there is no tool in the present market within the 2 or 3 months where you can switch your career. If you go to for Java, if you learn for R, if you learn for some Python, at least you take 6 months. Again, you need to attend the interview. And the coding language, it requires a lot of C, C plus Java. It becomes very hard for a non-technical person to understand the coding language. But in the Power Query itself, it is indirectly writing its code. Suppose here, see, if you want to see the remove keep row, suppose if you want to remove the columns, just you need to click on some columns. Like if I select this first two columns over here, this employee name and employee name, I select the remove columns. Just if you select on remove columns, see, first two columns are removed. If I select these two columns, I will select here, remove other columns. That means except these selected columns, other columns will be removed. See, like this. So not only this, like this, we'll learn hundreds of transformation here. So there are some menu-based options here in the home tab, in the transform tab, in the add column tab. And within the first 10 hours of the classes, we will go menu based by menu, tab by tab, menu based option by each option, and we'll try to complete it. So this we call it as Power Query, where you convert the unstructured data into structured data. Okay. Next in the class C, data modeling we have discussed. If you want to go back to the Power Query, let's go to the home, and just you click on home. After making some transformation, click on close and apply. Again, you will go to the normal one. Okay. So why I got the wrong visual? Because I made some transformations in it, right? So that's why if you want to remove this, you can remove in the data over here, because I removed many columns from here. So we will click manager. If I want manager name and manage, if I want to department. So department name and location I want in the table. Just I select the table over here. This is the table. I select department name means, see, the department name will come here. If I select location in the table, location. So these are the department we have, and this is the location we have. Okay, like this, because in this Power View, in building the report in the next 15 hours of the class of completing the Power BI, after completing the Power Query, you move to Power Pivot, the 10 hours of classes. And next, we'll also go and learn each and every graph. We'll touch this graph by graph, and we'll try with the help of this graph, how you can build the reports over here. So that will be the Power View. In the Power View, you study with visualization. In the Power Pivot, you will see this data modeling. In Power Query, just I have seen the transformation, right? those transformation you will be studying over here. So just have mentioned you how the live the tool will be, how to download the tool. Okay. Now moving back to same information through the practical. Now if I show the same information in this slide, it will be very easy for you. Okay. What are the operations that I have done? If I represent over here, if you understand this entire demo is depend upon this class only. If you're able to understand this class, it's well and good that you have done with your, you have understand what is this 1.5 hours of the class. See, Power BI architecture means Excel, SQL Server, Oracle. Any organization, they run the business. If it is small organization, they store the data in Excel. If it is a larger organization, they store in databases. That database are SQL Server or Oracle databases. This is clear. Now, the Power BI desktop. What is a Power BI desktop? This is the Power BI desktop. Now, Power BI desktop, when you look at the Power BI desktop, it has three components. First, Power Query. That with the help of Power Query, what I have connected to the data, right? So here, from the get data, go to the Excel, I have connected to this Excel, right? So from the Excel file, SQL Server, you need to connect the data. So with the help of the connected data, see, we have extracted, transformation, and load. Because just we have extracted. After that, we made some transformation. We have loaded the data into the table section, right? Here we can load the data over here. That process we call it as Power Query. Power Query will extract the data. The raw data will transform the unstructured data into structured data, and it will load the data. In the Power Query, we have seen many menu-based options, right? How you can transform the data. In the first 15 hours of the classes, we'll deal with the Power Query. Once your transformation are done, we'll move to Power Pivot. Power Pivot is nothing but only you can see once. Yeah, I will close it. See, in the Power Pivot, we have different type of the tables over here, right? We'll try to understand how you can build a relationship between these tables. We have many relationship called one-to-one relationship, one-to-many, many-to-many. Those type of relationships are there that you will be discussing in this Power Pivot. You will do the data analysis over here. That process we call it as Power Pivot. Power Pivot. Once the data analysis is done, you will make the reports by using Power View. We have seen here, right? Power View. When you go to this report view, we have different type of graphs are there. By using these graphs, we will build the visuals in the Power BI desktop. That we call it as Power View. Power Query to convert unorganized data into organized data. Power Pivot to analyze your data to build the relationship between the tables. Power View, with the help of these graphs, will try to build the reports over here. That we call it as Power View. So Power Query, Power Pivot, Power View, this all we'll be doing the Power BI desktop. You can see this is a Power BI desktop. The development phase of your Power BI, any project will be done over here. That's why Power BI desktop, they are calling it as developmental software. And after you have developed the report, now you have developed the report, you need to share it to the client. So you need a place to publish the report, right? So suppose I have developed the report here. So I have developed the report. Now I need to publish this report. Suppose I built some reports or some graphs over here, like area chart or something. Just I'm not making the visuals over here. So suppose I make the some different type of the visuals over here. Now I'm not touching any visual. Just I'm keeping suppose. Run. Suppose these are some visuals are there with no data. I'm building some visuals, some table. Assume that I have built some reports, some visuals for you. Now I need to publish. Suppose I develop the report in Power BI desktop. Now I need to share this report, right? In order to share the report to the client, see, there is one publish. I need to publish the report, right? It is asking, do you want to save the changes? Yes, I want to save the changes. So it will ask some name and it will ask some location for publishing the report. So in order to publish that report, we depend upon one cloud-based service. That cloud-based service, we call it as Power BI service. In this cloud-based Azure platform, online base, we will publish the report. From this cloud-based service, we will share the report to the clients. And now client will access the report through his laptop or through his mobile, or his iPad or something. And from this, he will access the report, and he will try to take the business. He will try to understand his business. This we call it as Power BI architecture. It involves collecting the data. Suppose if you join any company, this is the process it will run. Excel, SQL, if the client will store the data in SQL Server, they will give this database. You will connect to the database. By using a Power Query, you convert unstructured data into unstructured data. And any tables are there, you will try to do data modeling and establish relation with the tables. And by you will clean the data. From this data, you will create the reports. In the report contains some actionable information. Now your report is completed in the Power BI desktop. Now you will publish the report. In the publish a report, you need some space. Where you will publish? Power BI service. This is online based platform, so that if you have access to anyone, 100 email IDs you provide access, 100 people can access through this online based platform. From there, you can share the reports. From the Power BI service, when you share the report, the client will use this information, that report, and he will take this business decision. So this is called as Power BI architecture. And when you join the company, the most of 90% of the work you will spend here only as a Power BI developer. You will install Power BI desktop. You will do some transformation. You build the relationship. You will develop the report. After the report, you happily publish the report in the service. From here, from you share to the client. Client will use that information, and he will take the business decision. And client will give the data. First is giving the data. From the data you are giving to Power BI developer. From the data, Power BI developer is developing the report and is sharing the report through Power BI service. And client is using the data finally in the form of reports, and he will taking the business decision. So this is the general idea of Power BI architecture looks. Okay. Now I think any non-technical background, if a person if understand what is Power BI architecture, how they collect the data, what is Power Query, what is Power Pivot, what is Power View, where you publish the report, what are the components of the Power BI desktop, you need to answer this question. Then only it will be easy for you, because directly I will open the Power BI desktop. If you try to build the visuals, it is not a correct way. You need to say what is a Power BI desktop. You need to see what is report view. You need to know what is a table view, where you can, if you load the tables, I want to see the data, you can come to the table view. Have loaded the tables, I want to see the relationship between the tables. So here you can find the relationship between the tables. Okay, this is how the process will be runs in the Power BI. Now, apart from that, you can see this is a process flow similar same. When the data is equal, from the SQL Server, you will develop the report in Power BI desktop. You will publish the report in the Power BI service. From that, you will share to the client. Client will use the information through mobile or through desktop or through iPad. He will see the information. This is the process flow of the Power BI, which is same. This only I have represented in the form of a one visual. Now, simple questions comes to your mind. Tableau versus Power BI. So the simple questions are, why company like Tableau, which has leading the market for many of for 20 to 20 years, but how this Power BI has kicked the Tableau and it has taken the competition, it has taken the place of the Tableau, which was a market leader. The first only thing is integration with Microsoft ecosystem. Because this Power BI is seamlessly integrated, it will integrate with Microsoft Excel, the Microsoft product, Azure, SQL Server. All these are, it can easily integrate with the Power BI, integrate with the Microsoft products. Because Excel, Azure, those are from the Microsoft products only. It is integrating easily because it is the Microsoft platform. But when you take the Tableau also can also integrate with the different data sources, but it requires some additional configuration in order to integrate the Microsoft ecosystem. But Power BI is a product of Microsoft ecosystem. Now Microsoft Power Platform came into extreme. Power BI, Power Platform, Power Apps. So these are like Azure. Now this Microsoft, they are clubbing all this now. MS Fabric come into the picture. They're integrating all these Microsoft products. So the seamless integration is there. That's why the Power BI has taken the place. Because already they have MS Excel, they have all Azure, and now they're implementing the Power BI desktop. So because it is easily integrating the Microsoft ecosystem. So the people are migrating to the Microsoft Power BI from the Tableau. Cost effectiveness, yes. If a product, if you want to have the product company, if you're going to purchase a car, both are giving same benefit. Both performance is very less, and one is provided with less cost, one is provided with more cost. Definitely, you will go for cost effectiveness, right? Because you take it is very cost effective. Power BI very cost effective. It is low cost, but when you set up the tablet, it has higher initial cost. That's why due to the cost effectiveness, the clients are more that want to see the reports in the Power BI. Now, third, ease of use. When you look at Power BI, Power Query transformation, you are not writing any code. Just you are using drag and drop options. You are making some actions. You are making some graphical user interface. That means menu-based options are using, and backend it is writing code by itself. So very, very low coding is there, and a person from a non-technical background is able to understand it. Ease of use is very used when compared to the Tableau. That's why the Power BI has taken the competition. It has taken the place of the Tableau. Now Power Query and see Power Query we have beautiful software called Power Query. We have seen like we have different hundreds of menu based option where you can within fraction of seconds you can convert unstructured data into structured data. That's why this very advanced Power Query transform options are very advanced. They are very straightforward. That means a person who is having a very minimal knowledge to understand the English, he can able to understand the Power Query transformations. So that's why Power BI has taken the place of Tableau. Natural language query. Yes, natural language query means suppose I will explain the cover graph. Instead of giving the graph, if you write, give a pie chart for region-wise sales. You have some visuals called as here. If I can show you in the Power BI, we have one visual called as this question and answer visual. In this question and answer visual, just you need to type a query. I want region-wise sales of pie chart. I will explain you in the coming classes. If you ask a question over here, ask a question. If you give here, I want region-wise sales of something, it will give. It will build the visuals. I want a pie chart of department and location. It will provide based upon the question you give, it will give the visuals to you. It will give the answers to you. That's why this Power Query has this Power BI has got so much importance. Now, Tableau has also features, but question and answer visual, it will also respond to natural language query. Suppose if you ask a question, it will directly give it will build the report, it will build the visuals for you, and it will give the output. But it is also there in the Tableau, but it is not that much advanced when compared to it. Now, same security and governance. Security and governance, when you buy a product, you look for security, whether my data is secure because your client is coming to you and is providing your insight the data to you and whether data is secure or not. Yes, Power BI has got the very robust security is present when compared to the Tableau. But Tableau has a strong security, but it requires some additional configuration in order to increase your security. So that's why the Power BI has taken the place of the Tableau. And real-time data analytics. So it will provide supports wide range of the data sources, and it will provide because it is integrating with the different Microsoft ecosystems, and it is giving the data in the real-time data analytics is very fast when compared to the Power BI. Now, most Azure integration. See, Microsoft Azure is a cloud-based platform. It is a product of Microsoft. So it is integrating with the Azure integration. So that's why the Power BI has taken that place of the Tableau Azure integration because it's a cloud-based platform. Now, community learning. What is meant community learning? We have one community in the Power BI desktop, like Power BI, Microsoft community. Suppose if you're writing any formula, if you facing any difficulties, if you type a question in that group, it's like suppose like a WhatsApp community. Some people will give the answers to you. Suppose you have building one chart, I have stuck in this place, and if you provide that question, some people in the Microsoft community will read and you will provide, yes, you can implement, you can work out here. This is a solution to for your question. Like that, it will give the answers. Because Microsoft community is very vast, where you have hundred thousands of professionals are there in that community. Because somebody posts any query and the answers will come to you. That's why the community handling and resources more in Power BI. But Tableau also that community, but is not that much active, not that much vibrant. when compared to the Power BI. That's why the Power BI has taken the place of Tableau. Now, update and innovation. I'm from the starting part. I'm saying this tool is updating month-wise. It day by day it is giving some innovations. Microsoft Copilot, it's coming, different type of innovations are coming into the picture. That's why the Microsoft Power BI has taken the place of Tableau. So due to its cost effectiveness, due to ease of learning, due to a no coding language, due to national query processing, due to a lot of security and governance, due to Azure integration, due to the community learning and resources where somebody posts a question, they will give answers. Due to the constant updates and innovations month by month, the Power BI, that's why the reason the Power BI has taken the place of Tableau. This Tableau is also very wonderful Power BI visualization tool, but slowly this position has taken by Power BI. Now all the projects which are they done on the Tableau are now slowly migrating to the Power BI. Now, apart from this, why to choose the Power BI career as path? This is a single snapshot because every point have explained you. Job opportunities are there, no technical knowledge is there. You can learn easily. Cloud integration, we can integrate to the cloud. Career growth is very high. When you shift the company, like you will go at least 50, 100, sometimes 150% of the 100% of the hike also you are getting based upon your experience. Low coding and user-friendly tool. Now you can ask, now this is the advanced questions from you. Like I will take some questions from you. So apart from that, before that, going you take some questions. I will try to ask Power. I will enlighten you with in the Power BI. We got Power BI Copilot. What is meant by Power BI Copilot? What the Power BI Copilot means? If you give the data in the plain language, it will create the charts, reports, and find insights for you, and it will save a lot of time. Okay, now Power BI Copilot is taking the lot of importance because it is like a smart assistant. Suppose I give some example over here. You will better understand like Power BI Copilot. Yeah. See, suppose if you have a feature like it's create, if the Copilot ask show me the sales of last 6 year months and get a chart. You are not building any chart. You are giving some language in the query. Just you are typing example. Show me a sales of last. Suppose you have last 6 month data. You are asking show me last 6 year sales and get a pie chart. It will automatically build a chart and pie chart and it will give it to you by using the Power BI Copilot. So if our data, you have many products. What was the best product selling in the last year? If you type this query and automatically it will go and search what is the best product which has sold in the last year. So by using giving a comments in a simple language, it will understand the comments and it will give the charts to you. So that is called as Power BI Copilot. After the launching of the Power BI Copilot, the demand of the Power BI has increased very rapidly because the clients are using this because they don't have any technical knowledge, but they don't know that they know the requirement. Just they are typing the questions, it is giving the answer. It will ask fix the date form. Suppose your data has a lot of duplicates. You are typing Power BI to remove fix the date format or remove the duplicates. Your duplicates will be removed. It will asking it create a weekly sales report and it will automate and it will create the weekly report to you. So such type of automation has came into the Power BI because due to the launch of Power BI Copilot, a person with a non-technical background, if they have some knowledge of prompting how to give the commands and it is giving the output to you. That is called as Power BI Copilot. Now, apart from this Power BI Copilot, also Microsoft Fabric has came into the picture. Okay, what is meant by Microsoft Fabric? So it is integrating all Microsoft ecosystem into a single. That is called as Microsoft. Like Azure, we have the Microsoft Azure, Synapse, like data integration services, and all these are coming into a single picture. Then we are calling that it as Microsoft Fabric. So because now the future is for the Microsoft Fabric because it is integrating all the like Fibers, the data platform that brings all tools needed for data management, data analysis, visualization, all into a single place. That means to the Microsoft Fabric, it allows you to collect the data, clean the data, analyze the data, visualize the data, and all this are done in a single through a one platform it has brought that we call it as Microsoft Fabric. And this is the going to be future in the market in the Power BI. Okay, because that's why Microsoft Power BI is innovating constantly innovating, and Microsoft products are innovating and seamlessly integrating with other. And every month, some new little features are adding to it. That's why a person who learned the Power BI, definitely he is going to have future sustain the future in the market. So this type of the report that you can create. And with this, we have finished the questions. We have finished the presentation. If you have any questions from your side, I'm happy to help you. Anybody is having any questions? If you have any doubts related to you, I can answer the questions. So let me stop this recording and give me 1 second. I will stop the recording. Yeah, not a problem here also. If you don't have questions, like most of the I have conducted more than 8 or 9 demos. They have asking a simple question: do I need any knowledge on coding to learn the Power BI? So for I am saying, if you don't have a zero knowledge on coding, if you are from any non-technical background, you can learn the Power BI. It's not a sure because we are starts from the basic. That is first point. Second, if you have a knowledge on Excel, it will be somewhat helpful for you because if you have some formula knowledge on Excel, it is an added advantage to you. But if you don't have any knowledge also, that you can learn the Power BI. And second question, most of the people from my old student, they ask, sir, I'm from a non-IT background or science background. Can I learn the Power BI? That is the first question because I have a zero knowledge in the computer or zero knowledge related to the software. I'm from a science background. Can I learn the Power BI? So a person with non-technical background also can learn the Power BI because there is no that much coding is involved. You don't need have some technical knowledge for this. And a person with a science background also who have interest to learn the new things, definitely the Power BI will help you. And it is not that only it is for only BTech students. Now, after completing the class, some people are asking, do I get the recordings of the classes? Yes, after completing the finishing of the class, if you are not able to finish the live class, we'll provide the recording of the class so that you can go to the recording in your free time. But I encourage everyone to come to the classes on the live so that it will be helpful for you. If you have any doubt there and there, you can clarify it. And next question, they're asking from many questions, sir, do you provide any certificate after completion of the course? Yes, after completing the course, I will provide a certification also as well. But my request is you take the certificate. If I'm a private institute, if you take an institute, it will not carry that much weightage. But there is Microsoft after completing the course, we will compare PL 300 certificate, which is required for completion of the certificate. We will provide each and because our curriculum is designed based upon the certification course itself. You can enroll to the Microsoft certification course and you can complete through the course to the Microsoft. So you can keep it as I am a Microsoft certified trainer, Microsoft certified Power BI developer. Okay. But if you want from my institute side, like if you want any certificate, we are happy to provide. And next question is that is the courses basic or advanced? So we'll start from the basic and we move to the advanced level. And after completion of the course, you can reach up to the advanced level itself, like a 4 to 5 years of experience person, how much experience you will get after completing the course, you will get that type of the confidence. We start with the basic, thinking that you don't know anything. We end to the advanced, thinking that you have a 5 years of experience, real-time experience professional. So this is the course design has planned. And do you provide the learning material and source file for the practice? So after complete the course, we'll provide the learning material to you and recording will be provided. And what are the like a soft copy of the source file that I'm using in the class that will provide. Material will be provided to you and interview questions, what are the PowerCom interview questions which are asked in the Power BI that will be shared to you. Apart from that, we'll provide some sample resumes, how to build the Power BI like resumes. And after completing the resume, you can share it to me. I can finalize the resume that you can upload in the Naukri for yourself. And one more question is, sir, I have 5 years of experience in non-technical or science background. Can I shift my career to the Power BI or data science related to at this point of time? So I am thinking if you are in non-technical background, your package is below 10 or 15 lakhs. Instead, you are having more years of experience. Suppose have some technical background students, non-technical. They are in 5 to 7 years of experience. Since their package is more than less than the 15 lakhs, or they're not career growth is very sluggish. There is no increments year on year. So even that, I would request everyone. I request those person to shift their career into the Power BI. You can move on it. But if you are in your position is previous companies are up so at analyst, associate analyst, some like that, you because analyst means you say that I worked as analyst related to the Power BI. You can say it and you can defend yourself. But only think if you have 5 years of experience, don't start with the fresher Power BI. You use previous experience as a Power BI developer that I worked on that as Power BI developer in my previous company and try to shift. Because at least if you are in the 12 or 15, at least you can ask some 70 to 80% that you can go to 18 or 19 lakh that you can shift your career. Okay. But if you have experience in non-technical of 6+ or something, try to say I have 7 years of experience, but 3 years of experience in Power BI. Then you try to shift your company and learn while learning the course, learn as a 3 years or 4 years of experience professional and start giving the interview. Okay, don't start as a fresher. Now, some people have completed graduation 5 years back and they don't have non-technical experience or anything. Some people are preparing for groups or something. Suppose they completed in 2020 or something. Last 5 years, there was a career gap. They don't have technical experience. They don't have non-technical experience. They are very quite new. Now, whether they can learn the Power BI. For them, I will say, yes, they can also learn the Power BI. But I request if you are compared a 6 years gap, don't start as a fresher. Try to get some experience certificate of fill your career gap with any other companies. Like you take the fake experience or something, like 4 years of experience in the Power BI or 3+ of experience of Power BI. Then you try giving the company. Because if you have 5 years of the gap, for the freshers, it is very difficult for you to get the call because they we have to face a lot of questions. You have such long gap, what you have done in this gap, and if you have to defend the questions, it will become very hard for you. And after completing the graduation, you have 5+ of experience. The as a recruiter will not show that type of interest. So try to get experience, like at least 3+ of experience or 3.5 years that you have worked after completing the graduation, and then try to shift the company. At least you will get 3.5 years, you keep a 10 lakhs package. If you shift the company, at least you will ask you get demand for 50 lakhs or something based upon what package you are keeping at the previous. Okay. Now some questions might be asked, sir, is learning only Power BI sufficient? Suppose I want to carry in the data science, so I must be in this field for more than 10 or 15 years. So what are the tools that I need to uh, learn in order to find in order to in this data science field? Okay, for this question, I have prepared the slide for you because this is very important, and this is what I have planned for myself also. First thing is, in order to be, suppose in the coming 10 or 15 years, if you want to be in a maybe you are a fresher from B Farm, you are mentally fit that I want to come to the data analyst side. See, one more question is, sir, Power BI, it is not like Power BI they are using only in the bigger organization like 5%. Every organization they are using Power BI. Suppose if you're not, if you're a pharma background, any pharma like related from Sanofi, Novartis, you can take Indigene, or you can any company there to even go to the sales and marketing team for this marketing management team, the brand building team, brand management, everything they are depending upon the Power BI. So Power BI not only for financial, insurance, or automobiles, construction, healthcare, everywhere Power BI has place. And recently, very surprised, I got for freelancing from the some project, even some small education institutions like this Sri Chaitanya Narayana, Apollo, MedPlus, they are for the reporting view, they are using the Power BI. So it has penetrated like anything because of this user friendliness. It's not like if I'm into the Power BI, I'm in the healthcare background, so whether I will get an opportunity. You cannot name any industry where the Power BI has not in place. Every industry, maybe your automobile, any organization for reporting there right now they are using. Now, very small organizations having some multi-chain hospitals like Yashoda, these they're also for reporting purpose they are using the Power BI. Okay, but if you want to have a career in this data science field, first you need to have some, for everything basic is Excel. Okay. It is better if you learn some Excel basic to advanced for data analytics tool, that if you want to have a career, first my advice, you learn Excel. From base advanced Excel, I am starting a course like batches on to next week, Excel with AI. That means we can use the Excel if you write the formula or if you down the dashboard, if you take 6 or 7 days, within 30 minutes, you can build the same dashboard if you integrate the Excel with AI. Okay, that advanced Excel. First, I request everyone to go through the Excel, because this is a basic building block for everyone. So in order to feel in the data science, first you need to learn data analysis. For data analysis, advanced Excel. Of course, if you when you join in the Power BI as a Power BI developer, you may not know, you may not use the Excel. Of course, if you are hired for the Power BI developer, but if you want to learn from the scratch, at least you need to have some data. Suppose if you have some freshers are there, if you are directly entering into the Power BI, sir, instead of entering what is the other tool, I can learn. In the advanced Excel also, you have some formulas. Same formulas will be using Power BI. It will be easy for you. Okay, everything to create the pivot, unpivot. If you're not in organization, sometimes your data is Excel, so you need to have some basic knowledge on Excel as well. Okay. Next, in order to sustain this field, you need to, if you have for SQL, you need to have one database knowledge. That database knowledge, maybe it's SQL or a MySQL. Okay, because this I am saying, if you are fixed that my career is this in coming 20 or 15 or 20 years, I want to be in this field. So advanced Excel, one and data analysis tool, you need to have knowledge on advanced Excel. You need to have one database knowledge, SQL, at least one data SQL Oracle, but I request SQL or MySQL. For reporting tool, you have the knowledge, reporting tool, Power BI. In this also, you have ClickSense, you have Tableau, you have Power BI. Now the Looker has came into existence, but it has not picked up that fast pace. But my report, most of the people are using Power BI for visualization. That's why learn one Power BI tool. Most of the organizations are storing their data in the database. Try to learn SQL. Excel, it is common for everyone. Okay. Now, future is becoming the cloud. So after 5, so you are joined as a Power BI developer. 5 years you worked as a Power BI. Now you want to shift to higher cadre. Now you want to add, suppose you are package 15 lakhs or 20 lakhs. Suddenly you want to jump to the 100% increment, 40 or something. So in that condition, if you learn Power BI and you stay stagnant for 5 or 10 years for Power BI SQL, Power BI SQL also we have the jobs. There are persons who are having this expense, want to expend. My team also, they are having the salary of more than 30 to 35 plus also lakhs also there. But if you want to go to the higher cadres, like if you want to on multiple projects, they need to learn some cloud technology as well. It is not immediate. My request is once you join, learn Power BI, add some SQL, try to get the job first. Now, on 1 year, if you are getting off 1 year parallelly, in the 1 year, you add the skill set of Azure to you. By the line of 1 2 year, I need to get grip on Azure. Okay, in that way. And if I say like you have to learn this and tomorrow you don't learn all the courses at a time, you will get a lot of confused. First importance, you need to get the job. Power BI plus I want to SQL, first I will get the job. And 1 month after 2 or 3 months, and I will add cloud technology to my it. And after complete, I will get some within the 1 year, I will get the knowledge on cloud. So cloud, for that cloud technology, I request Azure because most of the employees are used, most of the organizations are asking for Azure. Now for coding language, most of the people are has now coding is important. So even Python, we cannot mention anything that Python can't do. So if you want to have some knowledge coding language, keep at least 2 years frame you will keep, learn the Python library and take the coding language as Python. Okay, because 10 years if down the line, if you join company as Power BI SQL, get the 10 years experience with Power BI SQL, it is also boring for you. So use some time, at least daily 1 hour, enroll one course and try to add the Python to your skill set. So if you learn something, if you get some multiple projects, sometimes there every project, when you join the company, the Power BI, they will ask for some Python knowledge also. When the cross collaboration, if you learn the Python added to skill set, if you get some opportunity work related to some Python or coding language. Right now, I'm involved in the chatbot process where my organization is involved in the chatbot. I'm contributing to there because I learned the Python. I'm implementing in that. So it will be helpful for you when you add that cross collaboration and you can add that skill set in the resume. And last one, Gen AI, generative AI. Now the world is moving to AI because it means some people are feeling their jobs as insecure. I insist everyone in the SQL, how we are using SQL. Suppose if we're learning the base SQL by writing formula, it is getting 3 days. By using Gen AI, how I can compute it in only 5 or 10 minutes. But everything, how I can do this work by using AI. In that way, you need to understand by using the chat GPT, by using this AI tools, how I can minimize that work. So this should be your part and parcel. By using the Power BI, you are stuck somewhere. Using the AI tool, take the help. And how can I finish it? By using the Python also to, if you have written the code, you have placed the code and how to debug this code, where you have went wrong. So if you use this AI concept, then in the coming 10 or 15 or 20 years, that you can retire from this data science field if you go step by step. If you ask what next of Power BI, what present I will ask means if you are a fresher, you have coming from B1, Excel, start with Excel, Power BI, and add SQL Server. So out of 100 jobs, Power BI plus SQL, 90% of the jobs you can apply. So more 10% Power BI, SQL, Azure, because there are some company they are demanding for these skill set. But if you are going to high cadre jobs and if you want to be in this field and I want one coding language, try to make a timeline and try to learn the Python also. SQL, Power BI, Azure, Python. Then your career will be safe and you will, it's like you are a data scientist. And adding the some Gen AI concept to it, AI and ML concept, that means you will objectives are always fulfilled and nothing, there is no nothing more you need to learn. So this is the generally roadmap for everything. When you are preparing, right now I am a Power BI developer, but I have different 8 certification in Gen AI because for every work I'm using this Gen AI, how to integrate this AI into my work. Python also I have not immediately for learning Power BI, I immediately have not the Python. I took a frame. Like in with my job to join the company, I can take some time where I can upgrade my skills to the Python. Okay. But one more thing is don't join data science course, at least if you're a fresher. Somebody will ask in 80 or 90,000, we'll make 20 tools to learn and you will become a data science. Don't do that mistakes. Their Power BI, they are teaching you for only 5 hours. In 5 hours, you will not get Power BI anything. At least you need to have 45 to 50 hours of the class. In every batch, more than 50 hours we have taught. Then only Power BI will get handy on the Power BI. But when you enroll for a course of data science 2025 year program, like they will make you 20 tools. For every tool, they will ask 5 days, advanced Excel 5 days, they'll keep as complete. At the end of the day, as a data scientist, you keep your resume, the chance of crack in the interview will be very less. First, learn the tool, perfect. Power BI, it's okay. After learning 40, 50 hours, 2 months, yes, whatever the interview I can Power BI, I can crack it. Add the skill set, Power BI SQL, at least try to get the job. Okay, Excel utils will be very easily for from the freshers from advanced Excel, Power BI SQL like this. Then go to the Azure cloud only. In this, while after joining the company, you can learn the cloud technology and Python. You add this as skill set. While you do some certification, this is how by doing you will get the knowledge how I can apply this AI concept to make my work easy. So this is the generally roadmap for every person who want to sustain it. For immediately, I want the job, sir. I don't want this make me complicated. Type Power BI and SQL and try to get the job. And after that, you plan according to your work burden, according to your family pressures, according to your interest, according to your enthusiasm, and you plan your career accordingly. But as a freshers or something, if you want to, sir, directly I'm learning Power BI, it may not be appealing for me. So I learn the Excel and come here because some those menu based options will also there in here, and it will be very easy for you. For you. If you don't know, also not a problem. But I learned Power BI after the Excel. Power BI after I went reverse because this advanced Excel quite interesting for me. In some short project where internal project they are asking to do in Excel. So after here, I went to the advanced Excel. I've joined the company. So rather going the reverse, you can come here because if you work in a small company, sometimes there should be automation for a small data. They want to make it automate to Excel. So in that condition, you may have the knowledge on advanced Excel is also best. And coding language Python is a final. You can learn the Python and you can make a lot of. If you have this skill set in your you can demand for the package more. Like the person who's having this expertise, they're asked more. Their package is more like then some are there with this expertise more than 95 lakhs are also there. They're at 1 CR also there. Those packages are there because if you want to plan for long run this and don't take enroll all the courses and go to some website within the 6 months I learn everything. Don't do that, and that is a silly mistake. I'm not saying you are not wasting the money, you are wasting your time as well. Everything go phase by phase and don't be in a hurry. Yes, keep the time frame whether I can complete it. Keep the time frame 2 months Power BI, dedicate that time. SQL 1 hour, complete it. Come to Azure Technology after joining in the first 6 months of my career. Daily at least 1 hour I will work. I will add that skill set while jumping the company because immediately you will not jump the company, right? If you want for Power BI SQL, 2 years you will work. After 2 years, I will shift the company. Then you frame your mind. Within these 2 years, at least in the first year, I will add my skill set to Azure, at least next for Python. If you enroll in one course, try to do practice parallelly. If you do parallelly, in between internal project, you can cross corroborate. And don't think after 3 years I will compete, then I will start with Azure. So because when you are joining company, multiple opportunities will come to you in the cross collaboration. There will be common meetings. When only if you know some knowledge, then only you will speak something. And in that time, if you go for cross collaboration, the expectation will be very less. Okay, then you will try to utilize your opportunity to upgrade your career. So based upon my previous experience that I have, so the demo date will be today and timing we have done it. So what is the next communication? Myself and Subhani, I will also communicate you further and have rolled the Google form to you, and you can fill that Google form and see, I have copied the Google form in the chat box. I request everyone to fill that Google form, which I shared in the chat. And if you are interested, we'll send. See, I have copied it and I'm copying it again. Yeah, you can share feedback through it so that we can maintain the communication. And still we have any doubts and platform is open for you. And I will try to take up your doubts. Anyone, any questions? Wait, I will stop the recording as well. Yeah.